Welcome to the APB Recap, where we discuss about what happened in the stream last week before we get into the stream this week, which will happen in a couple of hours. Stream channel, link down below. Go subscribe. In the workplace, you need to find a much nicer way to say things because otherwise, you might get into a lot of trouble. This is a memorandum for the personnel from the Department of Air Force. Well, of course, the Air Force demands some level of professionality, so this memorandum is to be expected. Still, a lot of the stuff that's being written here is actually kind of funny. So if you want to tell someone that they need to, eat shit and die, you can just tell them, "Excuse me, sir."
That stung, you bully! And not only was it unnecessary, it was quite rude.
It's really funny because this list can actually work backwards. So if you see a person saying he's a bit confused, what they actually meant was, he's a fucking retard.
I'm sorry, do you have any fucking idea how rude that was?
It's so much more fun if you look at this in a backwards way. So if a person professionally say, interesting behavior, what they actually meant was, what the fuck? If a person says, I'll try to schedule that, what they meant was, why the fuck didn't you tell me sooner? This is just the Obama Key and Peele sketch.
Hold on to your lily white butts.
So instead of looking at this guide at how to be polite, look at this guide at what people actually meant when they're being polite to you. So them being polite to you could be a sign that they are tired of your crap. But hey, while that is their true feelings on the matter, them being polite to you is at least a sign that they are considerate of your feelings and don't want to offend you. Kids are admittedly pretty annoying, so it's understandable in why some people don't want to have kids. What I don't understand, however, is this. If you're in a relationship with someone, chances are you're gonna have to talk about the future of your relationship, one way or the other. And eventually, the conversation of staying together and forming a family will eventually be brought up. I'm not sure why you would form a relationship with someone and not talk about, well, the relationship. Even if the relationship is purely physical, even if it's a friends with benefits thing, at the very least, make it clear that it is. Discuss it with your partner and what the relationship meant to you. If you don't discuss them, you might end up like this person, for example, who had to leave her boyfriend of 4 years because he wants kids and she doesn't. Okay, first off, don't make your personal matters public unless you can handle them. And even then, you have to be really good at handling what people say to you online. I've seen way too many e-celebs and people online in general who did exactly that, and you're gonna have a bunch of people who are so up their ass and think they know what you've been through and try to give you a perspective that might or might not be helpful to you or to other people in general. In other words, people like me. No, seriously, I'm really sick and tired of people who are like, here are my personal issues. I share them online for you to view and to comment and talk about. And then when others talk about them and ask for more details, they're like, no, that's too personal. I can't talk about that. Well, maybe you shouldn't have brought that up in the first place.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But hey, since you did make this a public matter for everyone to see, I gotta ask. I gotta comment. I gotta react. That's just what I do. I'm sorry to say this. How the hell can this happen? No, seriously, how is it possible that you have a relationship for 4 years and the reason why it ended is because one of you don't want kids? Shouldn't this be discussed like, a year in the relationship at least? Shouldn't this be brought up at any point during at least the first couple of months or weeks so that you can end the relationship immediately before things get too late? I mean, seriously, what do you guys think is the point of having a relationship with someone? I feel like a lot of people pursue relationships for the sake of it. I feel like they do that because they want something arbitrary from their romantic partner, such as sex. Here's a partner that I can have sex with for free. Some may even do it for the status. Hey, look at me. I got a boyfriend or girlfriend. I am clearly much better than you. I am higher in my social status because I have a significant other and you don't. But the thing is, having a relationship is like having lots of money. It sounds fantastic at first, but then you realize that eventually you're gonna have to manage them. Eventually, you realize that both of those things will go down and you have to keep them stable as your lives move forward. You don't keep them stable, you will lose everything. That is the hard part that people don't want to face. People don't want to face the future. People refuse to think several steps ahead and imagine what their life would be like with their significant other. People don't understand that relationships aren't just about the status or the sex. It's about the commitment. It's about the willingness to work together to form a life ahead, both figuratively and literally. And it's not easy. I, for one, told my girlfriend that we should halt the future family conversations for a little while until I get a job. And then I got a job. I got my own responsibilities. And I feel more ready than ever to talk about it. But even then, we expressed our interest to form a family and have kids very early on. So let this post be a lesson to everyone looking for a relationship. The baby conversation will eventually be brought up, whether you like it or not. And it's better for you to bring that up sooner rather than later. When that conversation is brought up way later, both of you are going to regret it. I don't understand how my YouTube channel progressed from talking about culture wars in video games or movies to giving relationship advices. Something that I've been doing as of late. Maybe because I'm more in tune with things in life that actually matters. And while a lot of you guys get your culture war discourse fix from lots of other channels, let me tell you about relationships. It's a lot of work. Even if it's easy for you to get it, it's never easy for you to maintain it. And dating a stripper doesn't seem like work. Like the friend of this guy, for example. He dated a stripper. He was jealous that the stripper he's dating is doing private dances as part of her job. Well, if you don't like your significant other to show off her private parts to other people, maybe don't date a person whose job is to show off their private parts to other people.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But hey, he decided to play a smart move by having a private dance with another stripper. Then said stripper girlfriend is jealous and she broke up with him. And whose fault is it? Honestly, both of you. Seriously. Just saying, guys, if the person that you're dating flashes their private parts to everyone, then you're gonna have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with the fact that your significant other's private parts are not exclusive to you. It's not a special thing that only you can get. If you're not okay with that, don't date strippers. Don't date e-girls that have OnlyFans accounts, especially when you tell them to stop flashing their private parts to everyone, which is about the same as telling them to get a real job. For the record, I don't mind e-girls flashing their private parts online. It's their business. I do mind people trying to date e-girls that flash their private parts online and then complain that they're flashing their private parts online. It's like complaining that you're dating a basketball player that throws balls to basket.
Way to go.
Fatal Frame is one of the scariest gaming franchises out there, and if you haven't had a chance to play them and you're a fan of horror games, why haven't you? The latest game for the franchise is the one that people just sort of forgets that it exists. Aside from the moisture feature where characters get moist as you can see their underwears, it's a nice feature. Shame that it's implemented in an overall meh game, and the male characters don't suffer from the same fate. Where's the equality there, Koei Tecmo? Regardless, the latest offering for the franchise is a re-release of an older installment that used to be exclusive on the Wii called Fatal Frame: Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, which from what I heard, doesn't suck as much as the last one. However, some people have concerns about the old new Fatal Frame, and that concern is the fact that the female characters are dressed suggestively? Fatal Frame looks cool, but why is she dressed like that? She just dresses fine to me. I don't see what's the concern here. Is it because she's showing too much skin and somehow too much skin is not okay for you? Yeah, it's not a sex thing. It's a she looks so fucking out of place that it is ugly thing. I wouldn't care if the characters were in bikinis if I was playing Dead or Alive Extreme 2. So it is a sex thing then. If I have to hear about Western game developers ruining sexy characters for the rest of my life, then I'm allowed to complain about how all of these maids and schoolgirls and wet bikini models keep finding my way to my haunted house horror games. It's Koei Tecmo. That's just how they design girls. In case you missed it, Koei Tecmo, they're the guys who made Dead or Alive Extreme. Horror is cool. Sex is cool. Excessively fun gore and blood can be cool. These things can coexist in interesting and fun ways. But bro, when something is ugly or bad, I'm gonna say it out loud.
That's a subjective, philosophical point of fucking view.
Nintendo Online sucks. Everyone who's played Nintendo Online know they suck. But hey, Nintendo tried their best to make sure that people have the best experience. The problem is, they're giving really bad advices. And I mean really bad. So Nintendo has a tutorial in how to set up port forwarding, which you shouldn't have done in current year because, to put it simply, our technology has progressed far beyond this. But hey, what do you expect from a boomer company like Nintendo? What's really funny is that most of the platforms that this guide applied to are on consoles and handhelds that they have discontinued. If you have any of the consoles or handhelds written here, Nintendo doesn't support you anymore. So my suggestion is for you to just jailbreak them and get the ROMs for the games. Seriously, jailbreak them. They're much better and last longer that way. But even if it applies to the latest consoles that they have, it's still something that you shouldn't do. What Nintendo is asking you to do is to open the ports from 1 to 65535 of the UDP ports on your router. If you don't know what that means in technological term, let me explain it to you in RPG terms. Basically, they want you to drink potions that make you weak to every single thing in the entire world so that you can get high easily. But going back to the technical terms, you shouldn't open all the ports on your router because that can induce lag. That can induce hackers sending malicious packages into your network. That can induce all sorts of bad things happening to your network, your PC, your mind, your body, your soul, everything. If you're the kind of person that wants to have a marginally better Nintendo Online experience at the expense of your network's overall security, then feel free to follow everything on this guide. Otherwise, stay the hell away. This take got shared a lot last week, and I saw loads and loads of people reply to it. But I find both the take and people's overall replies to it to be a little bit far-fetched. As an adult, playing video games for long periods of time is a form of depression. That depends. That really depends. This is a debatable issue. It's possible that playing too much video games is a sign that someone is heavily depressed. It's also possible that playing too much video games is a sign that the person is having way too much fun with it. It's complicated, and it depends from person to person, but there's more nuance to why someone would play video games for a long time. That said, the next statement is just objectively wrong. Think about the 100 greatest moments of your life. Do any of those moments include video games? Probably not, and this comes from a lifetime gamer. Well, if you ask me, yes, there are great moments in my life that include video games. I've made memories in my life playing video games. I can still remember the atmosphere in my house when I heard the sound of my PlayStation 1. Or when the PlayStation 2 is booting up, I can still feel the atmosphere around the house that I was in when I still had my PS2. The sound effects of the 3D Space Cadet pinball is still burned into my mind. And I still remember the ancient times when I still use Windows XP and boot the game up just to cure some boredom. This statement is just false, especially from someone who self-proclaims as a lifetime gamer. So while I don't take too much issue with the former statement, the latter one is a lot more contentious. And speaking of contentious, there's also this statement. A painter produces art. A gamer produces nothing. Technically that's true, but it's still complicating to explain. If you're playing the games in your living room where no one is watching, yeah, you won't be producing anything playing games. But if you're streaming your games, speedrunning the games, making commentaries on the games, making guides for the games, making mods on the games, those are products that can be created from the games that can genuinely entertain and even help people. Heck, even putting all of that aside, discussing games with your friends or people online can create friendships, maybe even romance. So while the gamer can't produce anything by just simply playing the games, they can produce other things that are based on the games that they're playing that are actually useful to society and useful for them. Games are not useless in the society. It can be very useful. It depends on the person who plays the games so that they can turn it into something that's productive. And that brings me to the next take from Anand. You do you, but life is more fulfilling when you are doing something rather than consuming media. I agree. However, people's definition of a fulfilling life is different from person to person. Consuming media like video games can be turned into something productive, even if you're not making products of the media themselves, even if you're not streaming or making videos about those games. Games can help you de-stress from work. You don't want people to go to work full of stress. That can reduce productivity. And video games can help you de-stress, which leads you to work with a healthier mindset, which leads to increased productivity. It can. Not always. It depends on how the person plays those games. A person's gaming habit is different from person to person. Some can turn them into something productive, some cannot. For example, I don't play a lot of video games these days. Not because I don't want to play them video games, but because I just couldn't find anything that's like really fun to play as of late. But even if I do, I try to make sure that my hobbies can be turned to something productive. And since I'm a streamer and I talk a lot, I need topics to talk about. Consuming media that people are talking about serves as a great topic starter and more things to talk about and discuss, which leads me to have a more fulfilling stream, a more informative stream. Experiencing the media myself would yield a much better understanding of them rather than just hearing it from other people. Point is, video games can be anything, depending from person to person. It's up to you whether you want to turn it to something that gives a positive influence on your life or a negative influence on your life. The shipping discourse keeps on going even to this day. Same discourse, different shows. But out of all the shipping discourses that I've seen, I have never seen someone did something that's this unbelievably stupid. The level of idiocy is so insane, it has to be seen to be believed. So there's a Twitter poll of the best pairings of My Hero Academia characters, or at least 2 of the best pairings. 2 of the pairings. The result shows that it's a close call between the 2, but the majority vote says Kiribaku is the winner. Nothing wrong with that, but here's the thing. There's a stupid story behind this poll. The stupid story is this person over here spent $2,000 on a Twitter poll. You heard that right. The person spent $2,000 on a Twitter poll. All of that went to waste because the tweet got deleted and the person who spent $2,000 on a Twitter poll gets mad. Boo flipping who?
Look at you, throwing a tantrum like a little kid. How totally embarrassing.
The person said that they wanted to do something nice for the community. Yes, something nice. Like making the preferred pairing of 2 fictional characters win a Twitter poll. I personally would pick charity over that, but still. And this person has the audacity, and I mean the audacity, to say $2,000 going down the drain isn't some laughing matter.
You are here, and you're an idiot.
Zero self-awareness. I swear to God. And that's all for the recap today. The next APB show will be on my stream channel. Link down below. Go subscribe. Huge thanks for all the support from all of you amazing people. If you want to support this channel and see your name among the list of these awesome people, check out the links down below. Go donate just $1 a month or just $1 on the stream. Your names will be seen there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.